Look around you. The tall buildings surrounding us house a symphony orchestra, an international law firm, the historic El Cortez, and the news organization that has covered these institutions, this city, and much more for 150 years. Today, the San Diego Union-Tribune celebrates its return to the heart of the nation's 8th largest city, internationally known for its port, military bases, research centers, universities, theater, beaches, and beer. San Diego may retain a small-town feel, but it is home to twice as many people as Boston, and our population exceeds world capitals like Brussels and Buenos Aires. In the beginning, though, in our beginning, this was a dusty fly speck. Here's the San Diego Union's first front page, October 10th, 1868. You'll find ads for doctors and merchants, poems and fiction, even jokes that betray a 19th century sensibility. An Eastern editor says that a man got himself into trouble by marrying 2 wives. A Western editor replies by assuring his contemporary that a good many had done the same thing by marrying 1. That's what you find. What you don't find is any local news. There was nothing to report. So how did we get from there to here? Let's soar through the last century and a half, charting the forces that shaped our nation and brought us here. In 1860, the decade of our company's founding, San Diego's population is 731. The East Coast, New York, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Boston, Baltimore, Buffalo, is home to America's people and industries. But the Great Western Migration is starting. St. Louis, Chicago, and Cincinnati are on the top 10 list, as is one southern city, New Orleans. New technology, railroads, telegraphs, plus the end of the Civil War and the Indian Wars spurs migration. Chicago, Carl Sandburg's hog butcher to the world, soars. San Francisco, then the gateway to the Pacific, begins its ascent. The post-Reconstruction backlash against African Americans spurs the Great Migration from the South. Watch as New Orleans drops to the bottom of the top 10 by 1880 and disappears in 1890. San Diego is still tiny. Our 1890 population is roughly 1% of New York City's. Yet this western outpost is preparing for a vibrant future, surveying Balboa Park's site and building a new wharf. The city's economic and cultural heart moves from Old Town to Alonzo Horton's New Town. The Union moves, too, into 2-story offices at Broadway and 4th, just to the southwest of us. By 1895, there's even enough news to support an afternoon paper, the Evening-Tribune. As the 20th century dawns, Chicago is poised to become the city of the future. Buoyed by the 1893 Columbian Exposition, rail shipments of meats, crops, and manufactured goods, plus the ongoing Great Migration of African Americans, Chicago becomes America's second city. For many, though, the Midwest is only a way station on the journey to the West Coast. Los Angeles makes its debut on the top 10 in 1920. LA grows as 2 new industries, movies and aeronautics, thrive in a climate congenial for filming and flying. Aviators flock to San Diego too, as do sailors. The Navy and Marine Corps establish bases on and near our harbor. World War II causes a population explosion and paves the way for the post-war boom in aerospace and scientific research, further fueling San Diego's growth. In 1980, our city finally ranks among the nation's largest. While our population rises, some giants fall with the decline of domestic manufacturing. Consider what happened to Detroit, the U.S. auto industry's capital, Cleveland, Detroit's rival, Baltimore, a bustling 19th century seaport, and Pittsburgh, once the white-hot core of U.S. Steel. Today, 7 of the nation's 10 largest cities are west of the Mississippi River. Americans have opted out of harsh winters. San Diego is also among the top 10 American cities, but for how long? Being in the news business, not the predictions trade, we can't say with certainty. But our reporting has identified some qualities shared by the successful cities of tomorrow. They will be powered by intellectual resources, and San Diego is long on universities and research centers. They will rise on the strength of tomorrow's innovations. As it happens, the next chapter in San Diego's story is being written by biotech, robotics, cybersecurity. Their economies will be diverse, buffered from recessions. San Diego is a hub for military, tourism, life sciences, oceanography, communications, computer science, and more. They will engage the world. Sitting on both the U.S.-Mexico border and the Pacific Rim, San Diego is ideally situated to exchange goods, services, and ideas. Finally, the cities of the future will be more than 9-to-5 workshops. Instead, they will offer arenas where people can work, play, and thrive 24/7. San Diego has parks, museums, beaches, mountains, deserts, and a sparkling climate. We have all this, plus a history. In the past 150 years, the San Diego Union-Tribune and its predecessors have been headquartered in Old Town, Downtown, Mission Valley, and back downtown again. Our recent one took us a few miles from our previous location, yet we've traveled far to be with you now. Our home city bears little resemblance to the dusty hamlet we first encountered. Fortunately for us, now there's plenty to report on. Join us as we make and report news from the latest home of the San Diego Union-Tribune.